What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 45 of the Patio Slave podcast. It's Anthony here with Nate and Tony. What's up, fellas?
What up?
What is up, man?
You guys ready to talk music? You guys ready to nerd out a bit?
Yes. Oh, hell yes. We've got some good stuff, too.
I'm ready to nerd out with you guys always, man.
Awesome. Well, first order of business, check us out on all our social media outreach at Patio Slave on Twitter and Instagram. And then, we still do the email. We're old school, as Nate says, patioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And rate, subscribe, write a review. Why not? If you like what you heard, write a review. That helps us get in front of more eyeballs and whatnot. So
tell a friend.
Whatever you got to do. Let's keep this thing going. So, Nate, what happened last week?
Yeah, last week we had Toby from Sparks the Rescue on. He was gracious to lend his time and talk some backstory on the band and his upbringing and their success in the music industry. Really cool episode, episode 44. Go check it out. Like Twan just said, rate it, tell a friend. It's really cool. He gives some really cool insight on their story and, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and a super friendly guy. So it's really nice to have him on, chat with him about the good old days and and some future days too that look promising. So
shout out to Toby. Thanks, man. We had a great time.
He was very down to earth, very cool dude. Lots of fun stories and just salt of the earth. Mainer, man, that makes me happy when there are good people out there. That just makes me happy.
Yeah, Mainers that show up on time,
yeah,
ready to rock. I love it.
And hey, check. Twan said check our Instagram. Check our Instagram because you could win. Right, we got the contest rolling. So when Nate's Nerdery is back, Nate's been asking us to give his stuff away for the last 3 months. It's time. It's back. We've got a poster up there. We've got exclusive Patio Slave merch that only 12 in existence. So go check that out. Like it and tag 3 friends. And you're entered. And we'll do the drawing sometime next week or later in this week.
Yeah, and to be clear, even Nate's Nerdery, it's not junk. I'm not trying to get rid of it per se. I mean, I am, but it's all good stuff. I mean, I held onto it for a reason, so it's good stuff.
No, we're not. We didn't put junk up. There is junk in these bins. We didn't put junk up though. Like this is some cool stuff, man. Like you guys are, you're gonna want this. So go check our Instagram.
And it's free. I mean, who doesn't like anything free? So it checks the music box, it checks the free box, and we mail it to your doorstep. So there you go.
Yeah, it's like Amazon Prime, but nerdery.
Amazon Nerd Prime. Oh, and we get to bring the wheel back when we do the drawing. So yes. Nate loves the wheel. You guys have heard of the wheel before. we love doing that.
I'll give away more for the wheel. Yep. Any day.
So peep that. Setlist stuff. All right, do we want to jump into that first? We've all read the Rolling Stone article from about a week ago talking about Amazon Music's play to get into the podcast world a little bit. Kind of interesting stuff. And I know we all have thoughts. We ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. So I guess just for context, it's the article's called Music Isn't Enough for Streaming Services Anymore. So Nate, I want to hear your take on this and what you think of the play and where the puck's going.
This is a phenomenal article by Tim Ingram of Rolling Stone, kind of showcasing what's going on with Amazon in regards to, their pivot and really highlighting their play on podcasting and getting rights for podcasting. So other segments that we talked about are music licensing, buying publishing rights, buying catalogs from artists and how, valuable of an asset that is. But this is a completely different play to just focus primarily on the podcast world, which obviously we're part of. And we know it's something that we're, is near and dear to our hearts. That's why we launched this. But to see that this is essentially the focus for them, long play, is quite fascinating to see.
Yeah, it is interesting because this is the cross section of literally what we do. Podcasting, 1, music, 2. So Amazon Music purchased Wondery, which is a podcast creation company, for $300 million. And what I thought was interesting is the article really mentioned opportunity cost. It's like by buying Wondery, they had foregone the opportunity to buy Taylor Swift's whole catalog, for example.
Or Bob Dylan, right?
Or Bob Dylan, So they could have, and again, they're flush with cash. I mean, they could do anything. But clearly they think the puck is going in terms of podcasting and commentary and whatnot. In fact, I think it said like 22% of all Spotify listeners, this is in the article, listen to podcasts. So out of all, it's 70 million people subscribers from Spotify, all listen to podcasts, which is obviously on the rise. So it just shows you attention is being pulled. We say this almost every week. Attention is being pulled in every direction. So they're doubling down on it, which is interesting because Spotify just did the same thing with Rogan and Anchor.
It talks about the TV world a little bit too, which I know we all pay some attention to. Maybe not to the level of the music world, but streaming services that have like owned The Office and owned Seinfeld and owned some of those Friends, owned some of those sitcoms over the years that are nightlights for people. They put them on late at night or when they want to unwind during the day and they want to have something on the TV while they're scrolling through their Instagram, right? This is Amazon saying you're going to listen to talk more than you're going to listen to music. We think this is where things are going. And the numbers kind of bear that out. Like music streaming has not necessarily gone down it didn't go down in 2020 because of the way the world was, but it was headed in the down direction before that. And spoken word podcast stuff was headed in the upward trend. So it makes sense. It's interesting that they wouldn't also just buy Taylor Swift's catalog.
Exactly. I was gonna say they have the deep pockets. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that interests me is where the hell is Apple on this stuff? I'm so confused. Apple had they like Skype, no offense, Skype, which we used to use, and in favor of Zoom. They had a lead. They had the podcast game on wrap at the beginning, and now they're like, yeah, we don't really care. I mean, the majority of our listens, I think it's about half of our spins, come from Apple still, but they don't seem to be making too much of a play here. And I have Apple Music and I like it, but Spotify's better. It's a better platform as far as the usage and the for you stuff. And I just think they do a better job with that. I don't understand. Apple has deep pockets. What the hell are they?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered your own question in a lot of ways, though, because you said Spotify is better than Apple Music. And I subscribed to Apple Music for the free trial or whatever. And iTunes was a thing, but it didn't really play out, long term. So I think maybe they're just spread so thin. They're like, we know what we're good at. It's, physical goods, the services to an extent, but maybe not. I don't know.
But they have Apple TV.
Well, they have Apple
TV.
Music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just confused by they started a TV streaming service, which has been hit or miss depending on who you talk to, compared to Netflix and compared to Hulu. Why not throw you already had a lead in the podcast game? Why not throw your weight around there? I didn't understand that.
Are there any Apple exclusive podcasts? I don't even know.
I don't think there are. I mean, everybody's on there, but yeah.
You're right. They were up in the third period and just decided to pull their goalie when it should be the other way around. If you're down, you pull the goalie.
The funny thing is they're still up. I still think they're the leader as far as the usage of podcasts and how people consume them currently. Now, the way things are going, Amazon's trying to make a play. Spotify clearly has made a play, bringing Rogan in exclusively. And other things too. I think I read that in that article, 800 million over the last 2 years they've spent on podcast stuff. So they're trying to chip away at that, and doing stuff like this will do that. But I don't understand why they're willing to cede that, where that's where we see the puck is going. Bezos isn't usually wrong.
I have a take, which is Apple has some of the smartest brains in the planet, and maybe they're the ones that are right. They've probably done all the actuarial science on Rogan for 100 million and say, you know what, it's cool. It would be great to have him on our platform, but we ain't getting that back. We'll never see a dime from that. We'll never recoup that. So maybe this is just Apple being Apple. And again, opportunity cost of cash. We'll put our cash out the door somewhere else because they have plenty of cash. Dude, look that up. I've mentioned this in another episode. Go look up Apple's surplus of cash on the sideline. But that's probably what it is. They probably put pen to paper and said, you know what? This is we'll focus on hardware.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. They could also be letting the Spotify deal, this is for Joe Rogan, run its course, and then one up it with some kind of surplus deal that's all inclusive and bigger, better, badder. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To one up that, or maybe who knows? Maybe Apple will just straight up buy Spotify. You could see that too. Man. Some kind of
monopoly
merger there. I mean, yeah, it's already going in that direction, right? But after reading this article, based on the the attention to the podcast world and, like you said, where the puck's going, it makes me think of the way I'm accessing podcasts and utilizing my time driving, whatever. I'm doing a lot of podcasts, and a lot of it's because I want something that's extremely relevant, like in the moment. So I'll even like miss some episodes. I'm going to refer Joe Rogan again, and it's like, oh shoot, I really should listen to those other three, but this one came out today, so I'm going to listen to this one. So it's like real time, you know. The music thing, I think it's timeless. I mean, it's been, you know, replayed forever, and I think it'll always have legs. But where the puck is going is like real time change, what's going on today, and so maybe these reruns will be that next cash grab.
That makes complete sense to me. And I think we're similar in our podcast consumption. So I think we do a podcast where you could come back to us. Obviously, we're going to have some moments where we talk about things in the moment. But if you listen to an interview or you listen to us talking about bands from 20 years ago, like that can hold, right? That can stay on the shelf for a little bit and you can come back to it. Rogan is similar. He'll have an interview, unless it's something very prescient in the moment. He'll have an interview with a scientist about just whatever. And I can listen to that today. I can listen to that 3 weeks from now and get the same value from that. The day-to-day content stuff. You listen to somebody like Bill Simmons who talks NBA, that podcast he put out today on the NBA is irrelevant in 3 weeks. But he's huge because people want to listen to what he has to say in the moment, or his like NFL thoughts that change week to week, right? Everything's new. Any news podcast, same thing, news talk podcast. So
Right. The ones you come back to with the interviews with him.
right.
For me, those are the only ones I come back to.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to listen to it in the moment. You can save it. He's going to talk to John David Washington about being a movie star. Okay. I can listen to that 3 months from now. I don't need to listen to that today because nothing's going to, stuff might change, but not much.
Yeah. But there's so much coming out in real time that even those interviews, a lot of the times will reflect what's going on within that,
They can.
you know, 3 or 4 day span.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yep.
So it makes you want to catch it then.
I'm not dissing your boy Rogan, Nate. Relax.
You know what the other kind of side effect or like externality or whatever of all this is? And the article hinted at this, but when these companies, you know, the DSPs, when it comes time to re-up licensing, now they have the leverage. They can say, hey, Sony or whoever, Sony, your artists, they're not getting spun. So we're not paying the premium that we were paying because the attention split.
Dude, you're absolutely right. And they're doing this to make that cheaper for them.
Exactly.
Man, nefarious as hell.
And that could be it. And the other thing, to kind of double down on that, is the label's bread and butter now is all that. It's licensing. It's not selling the CDs. Again, this doubles down on the fact that in 10 years, labels are fucking gone. Maybe 20.
Yeah, you're right. It's headed
Audio
that,
Slave predictions. 2040.
When our kids are listening to, hey, remember when our dads did a podcast in their early to mid 30s? Let's listen to that right now and make fun of their predictions. Oh wait, they were right on everything.
Oh man, good point, Juan. I mean, thinking of it in kind of a different lens is the music. Let's say 2040. It's going to be so futuristic. Then maybe like a Led Zeppelin song will sound so antique that it just won't be relevant enough to even spin. So goes into that, you know, I don't know, money. The value of that song is just, it doesn't hold because it just doesn't reflect anything that's even remotely going on right now, which sucks because it's timeless music, but to different age group, right? We're kind of clinging on to like the old stuff and the new stuff to an extent, but we're still kind of recycling what was good. And I was thinking about this when I was driving today. Like, I think this is a bold statement, but I feel like music has kind of run its course in terms of like what you can do for the most part. I mean, there's certain things that haven't been done yet, but they're usually just different, you know, songs that haven't been written lyrically. But in terms of like how you write music, I think it's all kind of been done. I mean, it's just like a lot of things, like you can only make it so good. And eventually it's just going to be, you know, autonomous or whatever, but music's an art form. In how many ways can you paint it? You can probably add some things, but I think the formula has been kind of run its course from the Beatles to present.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I guess the one thing kind of similarly in this vein for me is we're going to come back to an album we love, right? And if it's something that we're really into, we're going to listen to it multiple times over the course of years. Am I going to re-listen to a Rogan interview? No, I've already listened to it. It's done. It's out. See ya. Same thing with the Simmons interview. Same thing with whoever. Same thing with this day in history. I'm not listening to that again if I've already heard it. So this is where I think the disconnect kind of is as far as the money goes. Like if you've got 300 million, do I want Wondery stuff? Yes, if they're cutting edge and they're going to continue to do things and make new things over that course of time, or do I want Taylor Swift's catalog where people are just going to come back to that for years? I think I want Taylor Swift's catalog.
I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. Like,
There's a million.
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna probably butcher what's going on in my head right now, but I almost think we're gonna see a return to almost an MP3 to an MP3 player type of relationship with the way people listen to music. And what I mean by that is,
Okay.
artists are gonna get so fed up for getting the slivers of pennies. And their contracts with labels are finally going to run out. They're going to fulfill the deal, and they're going to go to a music OnlyFans model where I'm going to go to Foo Fighters OnlyFans equivalent. I'm going to download their music, and then there's just going to be a player. There's going to be an app that you're going to download, just going to be a player, just like it was back in the day, a Winamp.
It really kicks the llama's ass.
It really.
Is that a callback to the first episode?
I think it is. I think you're going to see something like that. I think the whole industry is going to be flipped on its head where you're going to have basically a digital CD booklet.
I agree with you. You're skipping a step. Do you know what I mean?
Which one? Which step? You got me curious.
These big artists become Spotify exclusives or Apple Music exclusives, which already kind of happens for a short amount of time, but where say Amazon had bought Taylor Swift's catalog, okay, we have Taylor Swift's music. You can't get it anywhere else. That's going to happen. Not necessarily with her, but just generally speaking, instead of signing with a label, they're going to make music on their own. And then one of these DSPs that has the money to do it is going to offer them a huge chunk of cash, a la Joe Rogan, to have them be exclusively on their DSP for a while. And then it turns into what you said. They're all going to say, why are we letting you reap the benefit of us? We could be making more if we were subscription on our own, OnlyFans style. So, yeah, I think that's the progression.
I think it'd have to be a certain level of artist for that.
Yeah, agreed.
Wasn't that what Tidal was supposed to be?
Kind of, yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
They kind of prided themselves on paying the most.
And sound.
And, yeah, like Kanye, wasn't he exclusive to Tidal?
I started the free trial. Yeah, I started the free trial so I could listen to Life of Pablo.
There
And
you
then
go.
it wouldn't drop. 4 days went by and I'm like, where the fuck is Life of Pablo? They want me to pay. That's why this is happening. They're hoping a week goes by and my free trial runs out and I'm going to pay for a month to listen to Life of Pablo.
I think your thoughts, Twan, have legs because I don't know if you read the article or even just the language of the COVID relief bill. They made illegal streaming a felony, right? So I was thinking the flip side of these exclusive partners to buy it, like you said, OnlyFans style Foo Fighters. Well, then the Pirate Bay, right? You just get that on that. But if it becomes a felony to stream it that way, then obviously you're gonna lose some excitement doing it on the flip side. So I could see that being the case.
I haven't heard the Pirate Bay in years. Thank you for bringing me back to 05. I did a lot of downloading Howard Stern's show when he switched over to Sirius in 06 the day after and listening to those illegally.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Tony, I remember those days vividly because I remember you having so much music.
I had a lot of music.
And then you almost getting a little paranoid, and that's when you started buying vinyl like crazy, almost to make up for it.
I have I have gone to church. I have done my my penance for all of the music that I may or may not have procured.
Allegedly.
And now I've paid for all of it. I own it all in some form, and I paid for it.
I believe it.
So the great thing about an article like this is we can revisit this in a year from now.
Totally.
And see how it worked out, Because me personally, I'm not going to go on Amazon to listen to a podcast.
No, I haven't even really done it on Spotify very often. I will with Rogan, but he hasn't had anybody since the switch that I've been like, I need to listen to that. We want to jump into the good Fauci news. We're a political podcast, so we have to talk about Anthony Fauci and concerts. He thought maybe we'd have concerts in the fall, right?
Yeah, he did. He said, was it 75% chance I read?
Yeah.
75% chance we'll have live music in some capacity, whether it's limited attendees or whatever, or vaccine checks or whatnot. But 75% chance by the fall of this year, 2021.
That would be, I'd be excited for that. I like that we're headed that way. I'm not sure I think he bit off a little more than he could chew. I'm not sure it's necessarily going to be October of 2021 that we see that. I guess in some capacity we might, but to the level that we want it, probably not till 2022 is what I would say.
Yeah. The article mentioned that it was based partly on the vaccination rollout, right? And also some kind of herd immunity within that. So
it's going too slow.
Going too slow, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, he obviously said it for a reason. So, I'm always thinking like behind the scenes, is he getting pressure from, Live Nation Ticketmaster, like say something, we're losing money hand over fist here, like keep our stock up.
He's seen a lot. He's seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it's encouraging, man. If that does happen and it happens in the fall, I'm all in. But like we talked about, bubble suit, whatever it takes. Like I'm losing it, not being able to see anything live at all, and kind of dabble with the live streams as we have. But for the most part, I just need to see a concert in person. So
yeah, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, the pace of things doesn't lend itself to that, but he's a guy that he has to be selective with his words, and what he says has to have some merit. So who knows, and I don't even really know the context, like where it was when he said it or whatnot. So I don't know, but I'll believe it when I see it, type of thing. And I want it to happen. Like I'll be ready.
Yeah.
I'll be ready.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if we have a solid spring as far as vaccination goes, then we might see something like that. But a lot of things need to happen between now and that time frame for us to have what we want to have back. And there are too many people pulling in their own direction, as I think I've said before. Too many people want to pull in their own direction. So that's as political as we'll get, but we all want to get back out there, man. So like, let's just do what we're supposed to.
Yeah. No, and to your point with the fact that it's going to take a while, like even the venues themselves, let's say that, the vaccination rollout, speeds up a little bit or what have you. I mean, I still go to grocery stores and, we're all in public when we have to be. And there's just so much that needs to be retrofitted to what's going on with COVID, whether it's like automatic sensors for the water to come on for the faucet, some kind of door to open for you.
Air filters.
So in terms of a live venue, just the liability, they'll have to retrofit everything to comply with, even with the rollout of the vaccine. So it's pretty bold to say it's going to happen in the fall, but who knows?
I mean, it's wishful thinking. It's a positive story as opposed to a lot of the negative stories that we got last year. So, and I'm not naive to think that, it turned 2021, everything's better. I know it's not. We need to, this month has been particularly difficult as far as a lot of things have gone. So we need things to get better. We need warmer weather helps, and we need, people to go get vaccinated. And it's an important thing for us to get back to normal.
And I mean, I think the reason why we bring this up tonight is we just really anticipate getting back to live music, which is a segue into our segment tonight.
Yep.
Which is what, Tone?
Yeah, we didn't tease it, which is
we didn't tease it in the beginning.
Not like us, but hey, you've made it this far, and you probably already know because it's going to be in the title of the episode. But we most anticipated albums of 20 or music releases of 2021. Some are confirmed, right? I would imagine. Some are not. We're speculating, and some are pipe dreams. Those are the categories that I came up with. Some are definitely confirmed. They have release dates. They might even be in 3 weeks. Some were like, they're rumored. Maybe they'll put something out by the end of the year. They're working on stuff. That'd be cool. And then some are like, we hope this happens. We haven't heard from them, or we want to hear from them. Yeah. Who wants to lead off?
All right, I'll lead off.
Nate.
All right, so when we do a lot of brainstorming here. When we brainstormed this topic, well, actually, Tone did. Who I'm going to say was the first band that came to my mind, which is Crime in Stereo. They, so a little story. So back in May 2019, I went out to their West Coast 3-date reunion, and I'll never forget. I was walking down the street by Petco Park in San Diego. I think it was probably the day of the San Diego show, and I was on Facebook and Instagram, and Crime in Stereo had put out a 1-minute teaser clip of a new song with a caption that said soon, period. So I'm like, holy shit, this makes so much sense. They're gonna do this West Coast tour. They're gonna drop they're going to announce an album. So here we are, a year and a half later. Nothing's ever come from that clip. They never released the song. They never released an EP or an album. So for me, I'll take anything from them. EP, full length. My guess is when bands go into the studio, they record more than one song. So I know there's more than one song. So I got to believe it's a 7-inch or an EP at minimum. So that is my, hey, your last album came out in 2010. Where the heck's the new stuff? That's my definitely at the near the top of the anticipated list.
That's a great. This is what I love about our podcast. I'm not going to lie to you. It just went through my head as I was listening to you talk about that. They were not on my radar, but you made me a fan of them, and you are more in tune to what's going on with them because you've liked them longer than I have. Full disclosure, anybody that's listened knows that. But it's now I'm excited about it. Like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah, they're a cool band, and I like them because you've told me about them, and then I got into them, and I'm like, man, I would like some new music from them right now. That'd be fucking awesome.
I'm telling you, go to their Facebook, go back to 2019, listen to the clip. It screams Long Island, New York. It screams brand new type of sound. You'll fucking love it. You'll be like, I need this. I need this.
I'm in on that.
Oh, man. That's awesome, man. And it's also like just very interesting that, we talked about like all the stuff that was supposed to come out and all like behind the scenes, how they had everything kind of ready to roll and everything. So that was clearly one of those cases where they're like, oh shit, like we have to cancel everything. But I guess we'll just put it on hold because hopefully things will come back around.
I hope that's what it was. It was the fact that they might have had something locked and loaded that they wanted to either release maybe for Record Store Day, and then Record Store Day got pushed, or hey, we've got 10 songs coming at you and we're going to tour on it, and they couldn't tour on it. So that could have been definitely the situation. That's exciting. I'm excited about that now.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like we always, when we think about all the music talk, we always kind of ask two questions, like the how and the why of anything music related. So I'm like wondering, like, why didn't this come out? Like, what happened? I need to know the story.
Yep. Especially when you get teased like that, man. That's the thing.
Like, what happened
like
that it didn't get dropped right after that? I'd love to know.
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
Hey, the hype is real. The hype
There's
is real
always
with
hype.
them.
We love hype.
All right, my first one. So who's up?
Nate, you got one?
I got one. And one of those things where I didn't want to like bring it up because it's like, man, it's like a big one. But just because of the, craziness that's going on and everything, I really would like to hear something brand new, but also somewhat throwback for Radiohead to come out and just put something crazy out, like a double album to just kind of sum up everything that's happened in the last, I don't even 2 years really. And, and the way Tom, or is it Tom or Thom?
Thom Yorke.
Tom York. Thom Yorke. He's an amazing songwriter, and obviously the band is extremely tight. So something from them, almost like a concept album, double concept album. I'm asking for a lot now.
Yeah, right. You're asking for 26 songs.
Beggars can't be choosers, man. It's 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift just gave us like 50 last year, so they could do it, right?
Yeah. So it's the first thing that came to mind, just because I was just thinking of who showcases emotion and amazing sounds, soundscapes the best, or at least one of the best, and that's Radiohead. So to funnel all this chaos into something beautiful, I think Radiohead could really come back strong.
Actually, one point is if you were to put a percentage of likelihood for this to happen, where would you put it? 0?
What, the double concept album? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
5%.
Just music?
Yeah, just music for them.
20, 25, 30 maybe? I mean, it was 20, and I had to look this up. I didn't know it off the top of my head. Moonshaped Pool came out in 2016. So it's been it'll be 5 years in May.
Wow.
That's a long time. It's a long time for them. It's not for them, maybe not, but it's a long time for a band to go between albums. And maybe last year was rife with inspiration for bands. So we're going to see, as I predicted at the end of the year 2020, a lot of music come out that, fits this situation at some point. I don't know when, but hopefully Radiohead. That'd be fucking awesome.
So Moonshaped Pool came out 2016. Before that was The King of Limbs a full length?
Yes, technically.
Because if you count that, it was 5 years between those two albums.
So we're right on schedule.
Yeah. if you count that.
That's another thing, a little nerd thing. I always wonder, are those when it's like exactly 5 and 5? I wonder if that's planned. There's some bands that literally do it like clockwork. Like even if it's a long span of time, it seems like it's that exact 5 or 6 year space.
Tell that to Tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or A Perfect Circle.
Or Guns N' Roses.
Or Guns N' Roses.
Oh man, Chinese Democracy finally came out.
Yeah, that lived up to the hype. Not.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tool, with your point, Twan, and the band you mentioned, like had Tool's album not dropped in 2019, I feel like that album wouldn't have come out and the band would have just called it a day.
Been the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They may be done anyway. I wouldn't be shocked by that. As far as just a not necessarily a done forever, but done as a recording artist. I could see them maybe playing shows here and there, but they may be like, yeah, we're good. We've put out everything we need to put out. We've enjoyed ourselves. I could see that.
Yeah,
all right,
am those bad vibes.
I don't want it to happen, but you never know. Am I up? All right, I'm going to ask you guys. I have those 3 categories. The music that has been confirmed, it's coming out this year. We're sure of it. We have dates for some of it. Unconfirmed or pipe dream. Give me a category.
I'm gonna go pipe dream.
I was gonna say pipe dream. I want like the deep nerdery, like you're jonesing for something that may or may not happen.
I got 3 of them that I really, really like here.
Hash pipe dream.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna say.
It might be one of mine.
Oh, it could be.
But go. You go.
My pipe dream, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh wow.
Ooh,
it wasn't mine, but yeah, fucking obvious.
They were supposed to tour last summer, right?
Yeah.
And all that went on, they were in touch with each other if they were going to tour. Hey guys, like maybe toss us 6 songs. How fucking awesome would that be? Think about that.
Whew.
You know
So,
what?
yeah,
That's so risky though, because what if it sucked?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What if it sucked?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You heard Zach's verse on Run the Jewels. It wouldn't suck.
Yeah. But you also had the De La Roca solo single, Digging for Windows, which actually wasn't bad. I need One Day's a Lion too. But yeah, I think it would be good. It would basically be 20 years of We Told You So.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it'd be. 20 years of look, we went away and you guys let the world go to shit. We're back. Let's fucking fix this stuff.
Damn. Yeah, for me it goes to the how and the why. So for them, why would they what's in it for them? I guess that's the question I would ask. Is it the fuck you, we can still do it? Like,
yes, that's probably it.
And imagine if it was good, it would own the charts. Not that they're going for that, but it could continue their legacy for another 20 years. I mean, they'll be around for a whole new generation, possibly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Nate brought up Tool in our last little mini talk here. And when they dropped Fear Inoculum in 2019, they were like, they owned streaming. And everybody was like, why is Tool? Who is Tool? What is Tool? All the kids that were like, who is this band? And why is it like blowing my favorite artist out of the water? This doesn't make sense to me. It's because of their reputation. Rage would do the same thing. People know who Rage are, maybe a little bit more, but Rage would do the same thing. It would be like our generation of people, which in prepping for the Rolling Stone article is the kind of up and coming music streaming platform demographic would be like, yep, a new Rage record or even 4 songs. Let's go. Let's download that shit out of that and play that a million times.
Yeah, good call. Rage Against the Machine, people like discovering them now. I feel like it's woke culture now, right? So it kind of makes sense to really dig into those lyrics and understand like what was being told to us 20 plus years ago with this band Rage Against the Machine is like a kid now, 16-year-old discovering Rage and discovering like 1984 by George Orwell at the same time. It's like these were written a long time ago and they're describing exactly what's going on. Like how crazy is that, Yeah, Rage could totally put something out and basically be like, we told you so, and here's what's going to happen in the next 20 years. So wake up.
Yeah.
The whole back catalog's out there, and like you said, it's the streaming generation, so there's no incremental cost. You just type in Rage Against the Machine and you have their whole catalog. Which reminds me, I don't know if I'd like growing up in this era. If I found out about music in this era, I think the hunt of the search would not be as fun. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah, that's an episode. Leave that alone.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. You're right. My thought there is that they were going to tour, so they're amicable enough to have wanted to do that. Are they friendly enough to have wanted to put together a handful of songs, put together with what's going on today. Weren't they supposed to end the tour at the Republican National Convention like they've done in the past? And wherever, I can't remember the city it was supposed to be in, but I feel like the end of the tour was supposed to coincide with where the RNC was supposed to be, just because that's what they would do. It's just them. And maybe they put a couple songs together for it too. Who knows? And we just didn't hear him yet.
You bring up a great point, because when a band like that, especially who's been away from it for so long, when they are gearing up for touring, it's not like they just day one on the first tour. It's the first time playing together. They've been practicing, been in the same room.
Have to.
And you can't tell me that Morello's not fucking experimenting with some riffs and then they go from there, Hey,
I've been saving this riff, guys. It was a Rage riff. I just didn't know what to do with it. Yep. No, man, we're talking ourselves into it now, aren't we?
I could see that. And that's actually what I was going to say too, is like Zach's whole solo album that never came out. If he has a full album of solo stuff, I'm sure he has a lot more of 20 years of just like, we could put this out. We could apply it to the, the rhythm section and put out probably multiple albums really. And the whole tour, they toured in what, 07? Their first tour back after their breakup in 2000. Yeah. And it seems like they get back together, periodically, spaced out. And I did read something when the 07 reunion came out that they actually those four meet up with their management once a year to discuss touring, not necessarily writing music, but they link up with their management once a year to discuss, like, here's all the offers around the world to tour. Do we want to do it? And I guess they never, it's got to be 4 votes. And obviously it finally came, or almost happened with this most recent tour.
Yeah. Right. But why didn't you ask Brad when you met him at that Whole Foods?
It was brief, but
I know. I'm kidding.
If I had more time, there would be a lot of things I would ask.
Oh yeah, we would talk to Brad right now. Oh, and here's Brad Will. No, just kidding.
Maybe someday.
2023.
Yeah. No, so Rage. All right, let's move on. We can't talk about Rage all night. I'd love to, but we can't.
It's a house band though, so I mean
they are, and they'll come up again.
Yeah.
Sure.
So my first one was kind of in the middle. It wasn't a pipe dream because they've teased it, and it also is not confirmed. So you guys want to hear the pipe dream or the confirmed?
Ooh.
Want a pipe dream?
Yeah, let's go pipe dream again. Yeah.
Deep nerdery pipe.
So this one, actually, Tone, you and I brought this up, or it came up in conversation this past weekend on Toby's live stream. Toby covered this band. Toby McAllister, our last episode 44 guest, he does the pop punk cover night, and it's a pop punk band. Want me to say it?
Yeah, I do.
Phoenix TX, man.
I was almost,
nice.
He covered Threesome, right?
He covered Threesome.
Yeah.
So Phoenix TX, they had a little run, early 2000s. They had that self-titled album, which was good, but it was like Blink Jr., which you could tell that's what it was going for. Mm-hmm. But then they dropped Lechuza in 2001, which
fire.
It's for me, it's even beyond an in-genre classic. It's like one of my, it's a record after 20 years that creeps its way into my CD player or MP3 player, Spotify, like every month. And that's not an exaggeration. And they did have an EP in 2016, which I think I maybe skimmed it, but never gave it a listen. So maybe I can, if it doesn't happen in 2021, I can go back and pretend that one came out this year. But yeah, Phoenix TX, I think there was some health problems there with the band. I don't know for sure, but I'd love to get something from them, even in 2021.
That'd be awesome, and it would actually work. You're right, because the whole pop punk thing is, I feel like it's kind of finding a new life. Those songs are finding a new life. It's still relevant. Definitely puts me in a good mood. I can tell you that, just the tempo alone. That'd be amazing, man. I haven't heard them in a long time, and I didn't see that live stream, so I got to check it out. And this is a what is it? It's a far shot. Like, you don't think it's going to happen, but you'd like it.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with them. I thought I saw something. One of the members had some health issues. Don't quote me on that. Mm-hmm. But we should have asked Scott Russo, because I think one of the guys in Unwritten Law I think Adam Lewis was in Phoenix TX as well. Shared member thing going on. But
if we can only go back to last May, I'm all about this. I love Lechuza probably to the same level that you do, Twan. I think I burned it off of you junior year of high school or whenever it came out. So And it actually, that burned copy lived in like 4 cars in the CD player in the past. One of my cars, I had a 2013 Jetta, I think, that had a 6 CD changer. It was a standard, but it had a 6 CD changer, right? Like who does both of those?
Right.
And Lechuza was in there for like the
Nice.
majority of the time I owned that car. So a lot of times I'd turn the car on, it would just jump right into KDW, right?
Phoebe Cates, KDW, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Phoebe Cates is so good too. Yeah, just a great record. Threesome, El Borracho, the last song before they go into their secret song, which is a thing back then.
Right.
It was just great record. So if they could come back and do something polished, obviously mature because they've grown up as we have, and give us a little of that Phoenix DX feel, I'm in. I'm all in.
And they're versatile too. Like that first album was pop punk. Then you could tell there's some metal roots there. Like even what is it, Pasture of Muppets? They have fun with Master Puppets. Like, and there's some riffs on that.
Name for a song.
There's some riffs on that album, and it just they matured in a natural way. So I'd be curious in Actually, I'll probably listen to the 2016 release.
I will too now that you've said it.
I want all sorts of pop punk bands to do this now. With you saying Phoenix DX, it would be a great resurgence in that scene. To see it come back, even growing up, it would be like the Blink self-titled album across the board on all these bands. It'd be great.
Is this a segue into your next pick, or?
Ooh,
It's not. It's actually not even close.
Well, let's hear it.
So mine is another one that I would love to hear, just the reflection of the times. This is way different than not even close to pop punk.
Nothing wrong with that. We love it.
Right? Yeah. I would love to hear something new, spanning this time from James Taylor, one of my favorite songwriters. Yeah, I love him. Love his voice. He was a college roommate with one of our high school friends, George. His father and James Taylor went to the same college. They were roommates. Not relevant, but just wanted to mention that as another main tie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love James Taylor, and I love his style of writing. And so to have him, put out a double concept album. No, I'm just kidding. Something to reflect these times, almost like a journal entry on what's been going on. I feel like even with some of the lyrical content, the way he says it, maybe it's just his voice, it's very soothing. It's I guess we call it music therapy. So that would be appropriate, I think, and it would be huge. I haven't looked to see if there's even anything coming out from him, but I feel like he's always writing, so this would be appropriate for him to drop something.
James Taylor is an artist for me as a kid that both of my parents liked, and subsequently got me into it. I ended up seeing James Taylor with my dad in, I don't know, 07. I'd have to look through my ticket stubs, but it was a while back now, at the Civic Center in Portland, Maine. And it was just so good. He puts on a storytellers every night live. Like he will talk to the crowd, and he's like, I wrote this doing that. I did this doing that. I saw this I was playing with this band. I was playing with this artist. I was hanging out, jamming with so-and-so, and I turned it into this song. Like that's what he did. And it was an absolute blast of a concert. What you want from someone like him, you got it. And that was really cool. And you're right. He's dipped his toe into what's going on in the world. I'm going to tell you about it through song in the past with many things. So to hear today's stuff through his lens would be really cool. And you're right. He does have a soothing voice. He's Massachusetts, right? He's local. So, yeah.
So he had a release called American Standard last year. So it was in February. So this is great, Nate.
Prior to,
it was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a guy was he still touring up till recently?
I think he was.
He had a tour. Lined up for 2020 that I was going to go to.
Oh, so
obviously,
so that's a guy that's been songwriting for a year. He's been writing songs for a year in quarantine. I guarantee it. Yeah.
And to your point, Tone, on that story, I didn't go to that show, but I did see a different show with James Taylor in 2012. I want to say it's before I moved to California, and it was exactly that. It was a song and then the story behind it. The only other time I've heard someone do that is Paul McCartney and B.B. King, just really giving like a behind the music on every song, and then play the song, and then another story, and another. Bruce Springsteen does it too, to an extent, and I just love that because it's the epitome of nerdery, right? But unlike someone like Bob Dylan, James Taylor is very, I don't want to, this isn't a diss, but he's very coherent compared to Bob Dylan. Like you can actually understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that 3 hour show with James Taylor, it's like, it's worth every penny and you get so much out of it. Yeah. I think it's really just the storytelling. And that's what I want to hear is storytelling. I want to hear someone else tell me what's going on right now.
He around the time of American Standard dropping early last year was on Broken Record, Malcolm Gladwell's music podcast that occasionally has really big guests like him. And I listened to that, Nate. You'd like it. I think you'd go back and peep that. You're a James Taylor fan. You'd be all in on that. So I'd go
Nice.
go find that and listen to it. It's probably an hour. It's not. It's a drive. You're bopping around SoCal, doing your thing. I'd listen to that.
This is the one from 2019, you said?
2020, early 2020.
Oh, early 2020. Okay. Yeah.
He has like old Beatles stories, and it's interesting. It's cool. It's like early as he's a songwriter, like when he's 17 type stuff. I think is on there, so you'd be into that.
That's awesome.
What's the likelihood this happens, Nate, you think?
I think this one's pretty high, right? I think he's always writing based on what you're just saying, Tone, about that last album. I think he's always reflecting on past and present. So I think we got to, if he wants to do it, I think it's possible. And he was like I was saying, he was touring. This tour I was going to see in 2020 was, I think it was him and Sheryl Crow in
Nice.
Hollywood, the Hollywood Bowl. And I was stoked to see it. And then it obviously got canceled. But every time he comes, I try to go just because I know it's going to be that show I saw in Portland, on steroids. Now that I'm a bigger fan because I saw him live. I was always a fan, then I became a bigger fan. And like you, Tone, growing up, there was times when I was growing up thinking like, this guy is so like corny sounding. It's I think I've said it on here before. It's like supermarket music, but it's really not. It's way beyond that. But it has that feel sometimes. If you don't know and you don't like dig deep enough, it can come across as like, Macy's store shopping for pants music.
But I mean, he's so timeless. Like Fire and Rain, so good.
Mhm.
Such a great, Sweet Baby James, great song. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going back to old James Taylor stuff, but
Is he
the guy can
Caroline
write
on
a
my
song.
mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm not as versed, but I know I dabble enough to know.
Yeah. And that's the best part about this pod, man.
I can go check him out.
I think I've said that 5 times, but yeah, he'll be on the playlist, and we'll have some James Taylor in your face coming at you.
So if you had Tone saying, "That's what I love about this pod," take a sip,
Drunk roulette, yeah, go for it.
take a drink.
That's awesome. I think a shot for every time.
Yeah, yep. Okay, am I up?
You are
Yep.
up.
I think I am. Okay, so we did one of my pipe dreams. I'll leave the other pipe dreams alone. We'll go back to, all right, give me one from either the confirmed music or the unconfirmed music. What do you guys want?
You pick, Nate.
Unconfirmed.
I think it might be semi-confirmed, but it's not really. I know they're back together, and when I say back together, they were always together, but they brought the guitarist back, and the guitarist is kind of what's always made them go. Who am I talking about, Nate?
Red Hot Chili
You're
Peppers.
talking about
Yeah, the Peppers,
Nice.
man. They brought Frusciante back, and they haven't put an album out with Frusciante in 15 years. Stadium Arcadium was 15 years ago, 2006. How nuts is that? Like, it's time. And I know it sucks that Josh Klinghoffer get kind of, here's the door, here's your hat, get the F out, but Frusciante and
Take
Red
off
Hot
your
Chili
pants and
Peppers.
jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Frusciante is what makes them go. As good as Flea is, as good as Kiedis's sometimes lyrics are, and sometimes not, and that's what makes them good. It's Frusciante. He is the LeBron James. He is the Michael Jordan of that band. Like everybody else gets better because he's there, and if without him, they're not bad. They're just lesser. So more with Frusciante, I'm down. Let's go. Let's get an album this year. Give us another double album. Stadium Arcadium 2. Concept album about the last. No, sorry, just kidding. But yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I want to see more. I want to see them back with a release, even if it's 7 songs. I'd be all about that. I'd be super pumped.
It's a great point because when a band makes like a PR like that or an announcement like that, it's not like, hey, we texted with this guy and he's back in the band. Like,
Right.
it's either 1, we're going to tour, or 2, there's an album, we're going to write music. So I think I wonder if it would have happened in 2020. When was it announced that it was coming back?
Sometime early last year or
Yeah.
late
No,
19.
It was December 2019, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, they might have had plans to tour last year.
or last summer, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
yeah, I think they had like 4 festival appearances and that's it. I mean,
So
maybe that
instead,
was
they
just-
made music, and we're gonna get a record, right?
I
Yeah,
like where your head's at. I think it'd be great. I mean, friggin' Frusciante's lyric, guitar lines. I think we've talked about it on here quite a bit. I mean, it's next level, right? So to have him come to the table again and work with those guys because they are extremely cohesive when they're a 4-piece unit would be phenomenal. I mean, who knows? Maybe it wouldn't be phenomenal, but I think it would be just because of the time apart and with what's going on. It's hard not to be fully laser focused on putting out something just amazing, and that band is capable of doing it, as we know. So if they put out another by the way type album to kind of paint the story of what's going on today, I keep reflecting on like wanting someone to tell the story of what's going on right now for me through music, just because we say it's music therapy. So to hear like how John Frusciante is going to translate these feelings in the way of a guitar riff is like a cure to the whole COVID thing for me, you know. So yeah, this would be great. And you said it's not quite confirmed, but
I don't think it's confirmed. I'm just going off of, I remember that story from 2019 of them bringing John back, and you're right, Twan's right. You don't put that out there, press release. This is the story's written unless there's a reason, unless you wanted to get eyeballs to it. And so something was afoot. Hopefully it wasn't just festival dates. You don't bring him back for just festival dates. You bring him back to write music, right? That's my hope.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, bands have touring musicians just to be a warm body to strum an instrument. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
The music's already been written. Anyone can, not anyone, but can play it. But you know,
Yeah, unless it's Josh Freeze's drum fills. Not everybody can play those, but yeah.
flashback to
Callback.
episode
11.
11.
Yeah.
Scott Russo interview.
Yeah.
We're our own commercials at this point.
Yeah, exactly. You guys just got a commercial for episode 11. Go click on it.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think you ruled out that it wasn't just a concert touring play. Obviously, you bring him back to write music. So you said the last one with him was Stadium Arcadium 2006?
Yeah, 2006, man.
And they've done 2 since then. It's
They
5
put
years
out
ago.
I'm With You and The Getaway. Is that right? And those aren't, neither of those are bad. They both have good songs on them, but they're not full-on cohesive Red Hot Chili Peppers records for me. And I think, I would imagine you guys semi-agree with that, but it's more. I want more. I want Frusciante. I want him playing off Flea, playing off Anthony, playing off Chad.
Chad.
Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm. I would love this if this happened. I think the world would appreciate it if it came true. And to your point earlier, you know, they're not just a fly by night. Let's just call John. Like they weren't even talking to each other,
Right.
from what I've read.
Yeah.
You know, he left the band and he didn't want anything to do with the band or writing music in that sense, because he did make other music with RZA from Wu-Tang and a lot of instrumental stuff and who knows what else, just kind of doing his own thing. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it with Greg from Zebrahead, right? He's Eddie Van Halen status. So
yeah,
he's a virtuoso. So to get him back is like, oh, okay, and we have this, we got him back. We got our Jimi Hendrix back. Like, holy crap, let's definitely tour. But if we can write another record, then we can really go all the way. And the best part is it's not about like, as a fan, this isn't about selling records as much as let's put out some art from people that can really put out art.
And they follow the 3 to 4 years between albums. So
Yep.
if they just got back together with them last year or 2 years ago, maybe on the tail end of this year or even 2022, it could happen.
Frusciante did put out a record called Maya in 2020. It looks like October. Yeah, October of 2020. So hopefully that wasn't, I'm going to do this instead. See you guys.
Right.
But fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
We all want to do one more.
Yeah, I'm in.
Before we do, I have a thank you.
Of course.
I have a thank you for Anthony's beard. I'm glad Anthony's beard has come out tonight. It's longer than mine. I have a little beard envy. When we're not going, we're all stroking our beards so the others know not to talk. Just want to, inside baseball as far as what we do here. Anthony's beard is majestic right now. Just wanted you all to know.
It's as long as it's ever been. And
It's great. It's great.
I was early to the game. Let's put it that way in terms of growing facial hair. So I've been working at this for a while.
Good for you, man.
Since I was like 13. But yeah, it grows quick, and I don't need to show up anywhere. So I just work from home and
Yep.
get the beard going.
It looks good, man. It looks good. I mean, we've all got them.
It's got some grays. It's got some grays now. A lot of grays.
As I always say, grays are better than gone.
That's a good point.
You just killed my plug. I was gonna say it would fit a Just for Men box easy.
Touch of gray.
Do you guys remember the pop punk band Fireworks?
No.
They were on Run for Cover a while ago. They have a line that's, I'm not counting the grays on my head. I'm calling them silver linings instead.
Ooh, I like that. I like
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
I got a lot of those silver linings, so I'm down.
I get more and more every day.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I just wanted to thank Anthony Spears for coming out because, I don't know if we could have done it without him.
You know what that's a callback to? An Every Time I Die DVD. Every Time I Die DVD.
I knew you'd know. I knew you'd know what I was doing.
I'll be signing autographs in the back by the bathroom. That's a deep cut.
Man,
It's on YouTube. A Night at Home with Every Time I Die or something. It's them just acting a fool, and it's awesome.
That is a deep cut on our friendship too. I think that was like an away message you had when we were like 19.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was 03. 2003 when
Sorry,
Hot Damn came out.
I had to tangent on that real quick. All right, Anthony, you got your last one.
Last one. So in the spectrum of pipe dream, semi-confirmed and confirmed, this is, I would say it's a verbal, but you get a verbal offer, but you haven't signed the contract type of thing. You haven't, it's not in blood. So the band is Incendiary. So I was listening to Axe to Grind podcast, I don't know, a couple months ago, and they were mentioning that they were recording. I don't know. One of them must know the band or something, and they said that Incendiary was recording. So, yeah. So reasons why I'm super anticipating this is one, I heard that, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Two is it's been, I can't believe it, 4 years since 1,000 Mile Stare came out. So they're due. So there's anticipation and hype. But lastly, just the political climate, what's going on with the world, like that's what I need right now. I'm trying to think. Like I probably leave my house in my car once a day, and I just crank music. Mm-hmm. And I would want nothing more than to crank a new Incendiary album. And I don't know. I have a sneaky feeling an album will drop, and it's only based on when that episode of Axe to Grind, they mentioned that, I don't know, some insider info or something that they were recording. So I'm ready. I'm so ready for that.
You know what's awesome is you got me into them, and I didn't put Rage Against the Machine down because I didn't think it was even remotely possible, but it could be, and I'm happy you put it down, Tone. But when you got me into them, I was like, this band actually could, and it would help with, like you said, the political climate, but also just, just some kind of release. This band really nails it. So I would love that.
Heavy therapy, baby.
Heavy therapy, exactly.
I'm in. I would be all in for this. Again, Twan, you got us into them, and they're badass, and that would fit what's going on right now. That would fit my mood half the time when I'm trying to, plow through a workout or do whatever. Like, it's just it's cool. It's something that I've been coming back to more than I thought I would, and since our heavy therapy episode way back when, and yeah, let's go. I want some Incendiary in my life for sure.
Yeah, so they're on Closed Casket Activities, I think is the label. So I'm looking out for something, and that's as soon as that is announced, I'm pre-ordering it in every colorway. Like I'm in. Mm-hmm. I'm all in.
Coming soon to your Sunday spins.
Yeah.
I think that in terms of percentage, I bet that's an 80 to 90% this year.
That'd be cool. Yeah. You see, what was the last one? 2016?
17. 1,000 Mile Stare was 2017.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's
and they're not a full-time band, so and their albums aren't long. You know what I mean? It's like they don't need to I don't know. 1,000 Mile Stare was probably a half hour tops.
But I mean, everything is probably in place where it needs to be, so that takes time too. Even if it's not long on the album,
Yeah.
the placement of it probably takes some time. Hopefully, someday we can find out how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Who's
All right,
up?
Nate.
Me? All right, cool. I'm
Yeah.
kind of thinking in the same vein, Twan, something that I need for music therapy. And this is definitely a pipe dream, but it's kind of a hybrid of two bands, Trent Reznor and Maynard's Tapeworm. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to hear it, but I want to hear new music with those guys working together right now, putting something together right now to put out this year. Be like, boom, here we are. We are going to do it. Maynard's amazing voice, Trent Reznor's amazing genius, both of their whatever rhythm sections, whatever they need to do, and put something out and just blow everything out of the water. I mean, we talked about Perfect Circle. We've talked about Nine Inch Nails on here. Tool, obviously. So those guys are obviously the masterminds. Not really. I mean, Tool's a 4-piece, right? And Nine Inch Nails really is Trent at the end of the day. But to have those two work together and just really just put their heads down and say, all right, let's actually do this. I think it's appropriate to work on this and make it happen. And again, selfishly have these two paint the story through their, vocals and songwriting and emotion, put something on tape and say, yeah, I'm going through it too. This is what we did. Check it out and just roll. And yes, it should be a double album concept.
Yes.
And there's probably enough
More.
material for a double, just knowing who's involved.
Yeah, it's true. I am all about that. Nate, did you just come up with this because it was something you wanted, or do you have a little insider info that I don't know about?
Do I or don't I?
Oh, okay. You're gonna
leave it
play it
cliff.
coy. Well, for me, seeing these guys put something out together, we've always wanted it. We talked about it a little bit, I think, fairly recently with the Perfect Circle Passive. That was a Tapeworm song prior to, and it would be really, really awesome to hear stuff from both of those guys together. Just like when we heard Passenger with Chino and Maynard, or Know Your Enemy, Maynard on Know Your Enemy with Zach De La Roca and Rage. So
Yep.
I would love to hear, even if it's 4 songs, 8 songs, something from those two together, or their camps together.
Yeah, I definitely check this out. Have they recorded anything in the past?
Kind of
Any
not
studio stuff for them?
Yeah. No.
I think it was the demos for that album
Yeah.
that never. I don't
Just
think
the
it was a
demos.
full length. It was like rough cuts and B-sides of music that they were putting together for Tapeworm. But the way I was thinking of it is like something fresh, not even that old music surfacing finally. Literally, like, let's go into the studio right now. I'm talking like Trent, the angriest songs on The Fragile, and Maynard, like the angriest songs on like Enema / Summon Lateralis, where they're just both fucking pissed, and just put out something with the soundscapes to just basically make like a movie soundtrack on what's going on right now. I feel like those two could really nail it.
The interesting thing about 2020 is it really created a unique one of a lifetime opportunity for a lot of, for anyone, but for those people who, they're their own boss. They can do whatever they want with that time. And yeah, is Trent calling up Maynard? I bet it happened.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
If it didn't happen in 2020, probably ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the bummer at the party and say that I don't think it's going to happen, but I want it to, and I think us talking about it right now is putting it out there into the world. So
we're willing it to exist.
There is some energy being pushed out tonight that you're hearing now a couple days later for this to happen. So we're gonna make this happen. If you're listening to us tonight, tweet at those guys. Hit them up on Instagram. Tell them, hey, Tapeworm, like, what happened to Tapeworm? Let's make this happen. We need you guys now more than ever, right? Let's do this.
Yeah, that could be the first band that kind of went into our earlier prediction with direct to consumer, OnlyFans music, Tapeworm. Like, you can only get it this way, and it was written 2 months ago. And it's ready to go. You get a concert ticket maybe too or something. I don't know. Keep it as a full exclusive deal. But yeah, I mean, I just couldn't stop thinking about this today. It's like, think of like Maynard's amazing, beautiful singing on like 3 Libras layered with like when Trent can sing, but both of their angry screams and emotion transcending on an album too. They would work so well together. It's not only because they're both from amazing, complex industrial type music, but they would work really well together. I think. I mean, I don't know, but I want to hear it. This would be a perfect time for it, I think.
Good pull. And they came up last week?
During the Perfect Circle, not quite 3 album run a couple
that's
weeks
right.
ago.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple weeks ago.
All right. We've reached the boring of the 3 categories. Ones that are confirmed. I got to give you a confirmed record, don't I? I'm excited for a lot of these that I have written here, but Julian Baker next month, 2/26/21. She is putting out Little Oblivions, and I really like Sprained Ankle, which she put out in 2015, and I really like Turn Out the Lights, which she put out in 2017. I've listened to a little bit of her collaborations with Phoebe Bridgers, among others, for Boy Genius, and her solo stuff I love. Sprained Ankle is a great record, and Turn Out the Lights is really good too. So those are records I would tell people to go listen to right now. And this is a question that I had for you guys, and I hadn't brought it up, and it might be its own mini segment for us. So I don't know if we want to get too in depth on it, but a band you love has announced an album and announced a song, and it doesn't come out for 3 months. Are you listening to the one song, or are you going to wait for the album to come out because you know you're going to listen to the album?
Depends on the artist.
Right. Me too.
Well, that one song though is in traditional sense the single for an album before it drops.
Traditionally, right? Yes, but today isn't traditional.
That's true.
Like I've listened to both of her other albums, and I know they're works of art. The one song she's working, it's her 3rd record, so I think it's whatever deal she has is probably expiring. They're doing the rollout. Like I heard about this in November, and I'm like, don't tease me 4 months prior, 3 months prior. I want to hear the record. So especially nowadays, when a lot of times you hear, hey, here's an album, here's a song, album comes out at midnight, or here's 2 songs, album comes out next Friday. That's the way things are now. I don't want to wait from November to February, late February so I've waited on this song. I haven't listened to the song that's out. So I was wondering what you guys thought on that.
Yeah, for me it depends on the artist. Like when Deftones released Ohms, I tried to avoid it, but I mean there's a big single, and I think they released Genesis too beforehand, and I intentionally tried to stay away from that. A Day to Remember announced an album, released like one song and then another song, and then the album still hasn't come out yet, like a half a year later. So now it's almost kind of ruined the out. It's like, like if I was them, I wouldn't even put those songs on the album anymore.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Nate? Are you different, or are you?
I think I'm thinking in the same kind of headspace for the most part. You want to hear it as a cohesive piece, and we're also big record heads here, right? So we like to hear things in its entirety. That old school, like I was saying earlier, like a single dropping before the album drops, that is kind of an old method. I think it still happens, but music with some real depth, like you definitely want to hear it in a cohesive piece as a record. So yeah, I think I'm with you. And the Deftones is a good point, because I did avoid those, and then I finally listened. I'm like, oh crap, like I should really hold out on this, but it's hard not to. I think it depends on the music style, genre. So,
there's a podcast I've mentioned to you guys in the past. He's sporadic in releasing stuff, but The Sound of the Story, and he did a whole episode on Sprained Ankle from 2015. And that, whenever you get a deep dive on an album like that, for me anyway, I have more appreciation for the music when I hear some of the story behind it, and it makes me want to go back and listen to the record again, because it gives me more, kind of understanding of what was going on in the time for this stuff. So this is one that did that for me. Sprained Ankle from 2015. I'd go listen to that podcast. The Sound of the Story is the name of the podcast. It does a really good job with a bunch of other stuff too. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I found Julian Baker, and I'm excited for this record.
So I got to check out more from her, because I checked out. Actually, I think I probably found out about her either through Utone or through Chorus FM or something. But
Yep.
I was actually just looking up Sprained Ankle, and 6131 Records put that out, and they have a lot of heavy bands like Touche Amore either is or was on 6131, Down Presser, hardcore band, like pretty versatile. So I wonder what her roots are. I bet they might be in that lane. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's always interesting, like why there's such a vast difference in the roster. Yeah.
I like that though. That's us. Vast different,
Yeah.
vast different rosters. That's what we do. We have, I mean, we've spanned the globe here on these 9 selections of music that we want to hear in 2021. So, pretty exciting stuff. And I mean, we all had a bunch more, I'm sure.
Yeah, give two just by name. That
I was gonna say, I think we should do that because this isn't one that we're gonna want to repeat in August. It's one that we want to get out there right now in January. So, Nate, you got a couple that you didn't mention. We don't have to go in depth on them, but
actually, I had 9 Inch Nails and I crossed it out for Tapeworm. Because Nine Inch Nails
too.
Yeah, because they had put out music in 2019, so I think it was pretty possible that they were going to keep going.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't have a whole lot of others. We talked about the Urge on here. I put the Urge just because similar to what you said with Phoenix TX, Twan. I wanted to hear something in that vein where it's like nice, something like happy, upbeat, just almost like a distraction, ska type music coming back to the top of the heap. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
What do you have, Twan?
I had 2 confirmed, and I know they're on your list.
Yeah, they are.
Kings of Leon.
Yep.
And the new Citizen album.
Yep, definitely.
On Run for Cover, Life in Your Glass World. They just released I don't even know if it's a single, but just a song off the album. And there's a music video I want to check out. I listened to that, and it picks up right where As You Please left off. In fact, it could have been off that album.
Yep.
And I'm in for that.
Yep.
So those 2 for me were the 2 that I didn't get to.
I have those 2 for sure. Hold Steady comes out with an album in a couple of weeks. I didn't love the last one. Probably need to spend more time with it. So that's one that I'm excited to listen to because I like what they do. As a Pipe Dream, The Hotelier, I want to hear an album from them. It's been a while. And then bands that are together. I'm going to throw a couple out there that I hope they put something out this year. Manchester Orchestra, it's been almost 4 years since they put an album out. Clutch hasn't put a new album out in a couple years. They're kind of due. Daft Punk, it's been almost 8 years since they put out Random Access Memories, and I would love a full length from them that was original. And Queens of the Stone Age. So those are ones that were in my head that I want to hear from that we don't have anything confirmed, but maybe they're doing something.
Yeah, good calls. And the Kings of Leon, those 2 singles dropped, right? For a confirmed album. That's probably
100,000 people and then Bandits. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
like
one
Bandits.
was great, one was good.
Yeah, I liked Bandits.
Mm-hmm.
Bandits was good.
Bandits, I think, was the great one.
Agreed. Yep. I'm excited for that record. That'll be a fun record.
Yeah, I like we always talk about artwork and imagery and whatnot. I like the imagery that they've used where it's like, it feels very Southern. So I'm wondering if they'll kind of double down on that, which, I know they're not from the South. Where are they from? They're from UK?
No, they're
Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh, they're from Nashville.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
The almost South.
So yeah, they'll definitely lean into that, obviously.
That was good. I think it's a good spot to wrap. There's a lot of music we're excited about in 2021. The best part is later in the year, about 11 months from now, we'll give you our best of 2021, and some of this might be on it. Some of it we're hoping for 2022, right?
Right. We can fact check.
Yeah.
Check our receipts.
Exactly. This could be, I can't wait to be like, yes, Rage Against the Machine's 4-song EP was the best album of the year.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, hey, hit us up on the socials. We've got the Win Nate's Nerdery, the exclusive merch, the hat you've seen on Instagram. Those are 12 of those in existence. It's time. You need one. And podcast@gmail.com if you want to hit us up there. And yeah, we're ready to go. We got more in the pipeline for you coming forward here.
Great episode. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, awesome episode. Have a good one. Cheers, everyone.
Peace, podheads.